Welcome to Easy Classic Stories. This is a retelling of The Nightingale, a novel by Hans Christian Andersen. The Nightingale is a famous story by Hans Christian Andersen. It's about a little bird with a beautiful voice. The bird sings for an emperor in China. The story is very successful. Many people love it. It is read all over the world. It teaches us about true beauty and kindness. The story is simple but meaningful. It's great for learning English. You will enjoy the lovely tale of the Nightingale. Now listen carefully to the story. At the end, we'll have an exercise on key events to help test your understanding. In a faraway land, there was a beautiful palace where the Emperor of China lived. The palace was grand, with shiny gold and bright colors everywhere. The gardens were full of beautiful flowers and tall trees. Everyone admired the palace's beauty. One day, people started talking about a special bird called the nightingale. The nightingale had a beautiful voice that captivated everyone. It lived in the forest near the palace, and its song was so lovely that even busy fishermen would stop to listen. Travelers from other countries wrote about the nightingale in books, spreading its fame. But the emperor did not know about the nightingale. He lived in his grand palace and did not read the books that travelers wrote. One day the emperor received a book from a traveler. The book praised the nightingale as the most beautiful thing in his country. The emperor was surprised and said, "I do not know about this nightingale. It lives in my own country, and I have never heard its song." The emperor called his servants and said, "Find this nightingale. Bring it to me. I want to hear its beautiful song." The servants were confused because they had never heard of the nightingale either. One servant said, "A little kitchen maid knows where the nightingale lives. She can help us find it." The emperor was happy and said, "Bring the kitchen maid to me." The servants brought the little kitchen maid to the emperor. She knew about the nightingale because she loved to listen to its song. The emperor said, "Little maid, help us find the nightingale. I want to hear its beautiful song." The little kitchen maid agreed. The next morning she led the servants into the forest. They walked deeper into the forest, listening carefully for the nightingale's song. Finally, the kitchen maid pointed to a tree and said, "There! That is where the nightingale sings." The nightingale started to sing. Its song was beautiful, like nothing the servants had ever heard before. After the nightingale finished its song, the servants carefully approached the tree and said, "Little nightingale, our emperor wants to meet you. Will you come with us to the palace?" The nightingale agreed and was placed in a golden cage. The kitchen maid and the servants returned to the palace, excited to show the nightingale to the emperor. When they reached the palace, the servants brought the nightingale to the emperor. The emperor looked at the small grey bird and said, "Is this the nightingale? It does not look special." The kitchen maid said, "Your Majesty, the nightingale's beauty is in its song. Please listen." The nightingale began to sing. Its voice filled the palace with a melody so beautiful that everyone stopped to listen. The emperor's eyes widened with wonder. He said, "This is truly the most beautiful sound I have ever heard. The nightingale is a treasure." And so the nightingale became a beloved guest in the emperor's palace. Its song brought joy and beauty to everyone who heard it. The nightingale's song quickly became the talk of the palace. The emperor listened to it every day, and it brought him great joy. He called for a grand feast to celebrate the nightingale's arrival. Guests from all over the country came to hear the nightingale sing. At the feast, the nightingale sang its most beautiful songs. The guests listened quietly, amazed by the bird's voice. The emperor was very proud and said, "This nightingale is the most wonderful thing in my palace." Days turned into weeks, and the nightingale continued to sing for the emperor. But one day the nightingale looked sad. The emperor noticed and asked, "Little nightingale, why do you look so sad?" The nightingale sang a sad song about missing the forest. The emperor understood and said, "Little nightingale, you may return to the forest, but please come back and sing for me whenever you wish." The nightingale sang a happy song and flew back to the forest. The emperor watched it fly away, knowing it would be happier there. The nightingale came back to the palace often, singing for the emperor and then returning to the forest. One day, a servant brought the emperor a large box. It was a gift from the Emperor of Japan, a mechanical nightingale made of shiny golden jewels. The emperor was amazed and said, "This is a wonderful gift. It sings just like the real nightingale, but it is so much more beautiful to look at." The servants and the courtiers agreed, praising the mechanical nightingale. The emperor listened to it sing over and over again. He became so enchanted with the mechanical nightingale that he forgot about the real one. The real nightingale, hearing the praise for the mechanical bird, felt sad and flew away, back to the forest. The emperor and the courtiers did not notice its departure. The mechanical nightingale became the new favorite in the palace. Everyone admired its shiny golden jewels. The emperor listened to its song every day. He said, "This mechanical nightingale is truly amazing. It sings perfectly, and it never gets tired." The courtiers agreed. They praised the mechanical nightingale, saying it was better than the real one. The emperor was very happy with his new toy. He listened to it sing over and over again. But the real nightingale, hearing the praise for the mechanical bird, felt sad. It sang a soft, sad song and flew away, back to the forest. The emperor and the courtiers did not notice the real nightingale's departure. They were too busy admiring the mechanical nightingale. Days turned into weeks, and the mechanical nightingale continued to sing. But one day, something went wrong. The mechanical nightingale's song started to sound strange. It was not as smooth and clear as before. The emperor noticed and said, "What is wrong with my mechanical nightingale? Its song does not sound right." The servants checked the mechanical nightingale. They found that its gears were worn out. The emperor was upset. He said, "Fix it! I want my mechanical nightingale to sing perfectly again." The servants tried to fix the mechanical nightingale, but it was not easy. They worked hard, but the mechanical nightingale's song still did not sound right. The emperor was very unhappy. He missed the perfect song of the mechanical nightingale. Meanwhile, the real nightingale was far away in the forest. It sang its beautiful songs to the trees and the flowers. The real nightingale was happy in the forest, but it sometimes thought about the emperor and the palace. It remembered the days when its song brought joy to everyone. Back in the palace, the emperor's health started to get worse. He became very sick. The courtiers were worried. They said, "The emperor is very ill. What can we do to help him?" The emperor lay in his bed, feeling weak and sad. He missed the beautiful song of the real nightingale. He said, "I wish I could hear the real nightingale song again. It always brought me joy and peace." The courtiers remembered the real nightingale and its beautiful song. They said, "We must find the real nightingale. Its song might help the emperor feel better." But the real nightingale was far away in the forest. No one knew how to find it. The courtiers were desperate. They said, "We must do something. The emperor is very ill, and only the real nightingale's song can help him." Just then, the little kitchen maid came forward. She said, "I know where the real nightingale lives. I can find it and bring it back to the palace." The courtiers were happy. They said, "Please, little maid, go and find the real nightingale. Bring it back to the palace. The emperor needs its beautiful song." The little kitchen maid agreed to help. She quickly went to the forest, hoping to find the real nightingale. The courtiers waited anxiously, hoping that the real nightingale's song could save the emperor. The little kitchen maid hurried through the forest, her heart pounding with worry. She knew she had to find the real nightingale quickly. The emperor's life depended on it. She listened carefully, hoping to hear the familiar, beautiful song. Deep in the forest, the nightingale sang softly to itself. It heard the little kitchen maid's footsteps and recognized her voice calling out. The nightingale remembered the kindness of the kitchen maid and the joy its song brought to the palace. It flew down from its branch and greeted her. "Little nightingale," the kitchen maid said, "the emperor is very ill. He misses your beautiful song. Please come back to the palace and sing for him. Only your song can help him now." The nightingale listened and understood. It felt a warmth in its heart for the emperor and the people of the palace. It agreed to return and sing for the emperor one more time. Together, the kitchen maid and the nightingale rushed back to the palace. The courtiers were overjoyed to see them. They quickly led the nightingale to the emperor's bedchamber. The emperor lay pale and weak, his eyes closed. The room was filled with a heavy silence. The nightingale perched on the windowsill and began to sing. Its voice filled the room with a soft, gentle melody. The song was so beautiful that it brought tears to the eyes of the courtiers. The emperor stirred, his eyes fluttering open. He listened to the nightingale's song, and a small smile appeared on his lips. "Nightingale," the emperor whispered, "you have come back. Your song is more beautiful than I remembered." The nightingale sang on, its voice growing stronger and more hopeful. The emperor's cheeks regained some color and his breathing became steadier. The courtiers watched in amazement as the emperor's health improved with each note of the nightingale's song. The nightingale sang about the forest, the flowers and the beauty of nature. Its song brought comfort and healing to the emperor's body and soul. The emperor felt a warmth spread through him, and his strength began to return. Days passed, and the nightingale continued to sing for the emperor. Its song brought hope and joy to the palace. The emperor grew stronger and his spirits lifted. He knew that the nightingale's song had saved him. "Little Nightingale," the emperor said, his voice filled with gratitude, "your song has brought me back from the brink of death. I am forever in your debt. You are truly a treasure, more precious than any jewel or golden trinket." The nightingale sang a soft, happy song in response. It was glad to see the emperor well again. The courtiers rejoiced, their worries replaced with joy and relief. The palace was filled with happiness once more. The emperor looked at the mechanical nightingale, now silent and forgotten in the corner. He realized that no machine could ever replace the true beauty and soul of the real nightingale's song. He turned to his courtiers and said, "From now on, the real nightingale will always be welcome in my palace. Its song is the most beautiful and precious thing in all the land." The courtiers agreed, their hearts filled with newfound appreciation for the real nightingale. They promised to always cherish and protect the little bird and its beautiful song. The nightingale sang a final, joyful melody and flew back to the forest, knowing it would always be welcome in the palace. The emperor watched the nightingale fly away, his heart filled with gratitude and love for the little bird. From that day forward, the nightingale's song became a symbol of hope and healing in the palace. The emperor and the courtiers listened to its melody with newfound appreciation, knowing that the real nightingale's song was the most beautiful and precious thing in all the land. And so the nightingale continued to sing, its voice filling the forest and the palace with beauty and joy. The emperor lived a long and happy life, always remembering the lesson the nightingale had taught him. The palace thrived, filled with the sound of the nightingale's song and the love and appreciation of its people. Great job sticking with the story all the way to the end. It's time to review the key ideas with a fun multiple-choice quiz. You'll find the answers in the comments section. Take your time with the questions, and don't forget to leave a comment below to let us know if you enjoyed the story. Your feedback helps us improve. If you liked it, show your support by hitting the like button. It really makes our day. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories. Thank you so much for being with us.